Welcome back, everybody, to the Honey Jam podcast. This is Jessica. And this is Janice. Making a little different.
Okay.
You didn't like it?
No, it's fine.
All right. So today, Jess, why don't you kick us off?
I'm a little out of it right now because
She is very out of it right now.
I feel a little sick.
And once again, I forced her.
yes.
This wasn't going to happen, but I forced her.
But Janice promised me it'll be over soon. So, and also I'm very excited for our guests.
I'm like,
so I'm
shh. Just one more episode. Just one more episode.
I'm powering through right now. The reason why I'm so tired right now is because I don't know if you guys, our listeners, know. I'm sure all of my friends know, but Josh is in China right now for a work trip.
That's right.
And so that leaves me with Hui alone.
Solo parenting.
For 1 week exactly. And, you know, it hasn't been too bad because I have a village to support me.
It's true.
My parents are in Korea and so are Josh's parents. So we don't have a lot of help out here. But I feel the love. Like even, you know, Janice and Eunice came to help me out. They made me miyeokguk, seaweed soup, and a sausage banchan. And it was delicious. And they came here to love on Hui. And even though he was being crazy and
He was fine.
it was insane. But anyways, we made it through the day.
Yeah. And I feel like even though it is hard,
Yeah.
it's also a time for you to really appreciate and really see like, oh, wow, you know, a lot of people love me and are there for me.
Oh, yes, definitely. Okay, side note. I'm sorry. Before we introduce our very special guest.
Yeah.
We were talking about this, but is it Enneagram or Enneagram?
Enneagram.
Our Enneagram. I don't know what you guys are, but I'm a 2. I'm a helper. And apparently each type has like kind of like a deep fear.
Yeah.
Or like something that like drives them, right? And then there's like a question that you ask for each type that kind of cuts deep for whatever type you are. And the question for type 2s is like, oh my god, I'm gonna butcher this, but what do you need help on?
Okay. Not help with?
What do you need help with? Like what are some things you need help with that you need to reach out
Wait,
to
that's like
for?
that's like your weakness?
Oh, like
Yes.
asking for help.
It's like it's like a question that you pose to each type. So for example, like Josh is a type 8 and he has a that's called a challenger, and he has a hard time feeling vulnerable to other people.
Yeah.
So it's like, what's something like the question that will, you know, that you could pose to a type 8
Yeah.
that'll kind of like delve into what type they are is like, what's something you can be vulnerable with? What's something you could tell me that you could be vulnerable with?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What is yours though?
What can I help you
Mine
with?
is like, what is something you need help on?
Wait, help on and help with is
What
very
is something
different.
you need? Okay, I might be completely butchering this, but it's like basically like 어떤 거에 도움이 필요하냐고.
Yeah. What can I help you with?
Yeah, what can I help you with?
Oh.
You know?
Yeah.
But you feel
But for me, it's like I'm always the one who needs to be the one helping people.
I see.
I have
Yeah.
a hard time asking for help.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, I see.
Yeah.
I see. Cool.
That is your weakness.
And then I
So
think
that's
for-
why you have to, like with people with Jess, you can't ask that because Jess will never tell you.
Yeah.
You just force your help on her and then she appreciates
Janice
it
is
later.
very good at that. She forces her help on me.
That's why you guys are complimentive, I think.
Yeah.
Complimentive?
Complimentary?
Yeah, complimentary.
We
Complimentative.
compliment each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. Janice has a good time, like,
Has a good time.
out of
I'm a
it.
good time, everybody.
Time.
She does a really good job.
Uh-huh.
Like forcing her help
Yeah.
and forcing her connection to me. Because for me too, I have a hard time like what is it? Like reaching out to
Keeping in
people.
touch.
Keeping in
Oh,
touch.
but she
Because
keeps
I'm
you-
shy. I'm 생각보다 very shy. But Janice is very good at like
Reaching
Hey, Jess, how are you doing?
Oh,
What-
really?
Yeah. Like
Keeping
what's going on?
connected.
Yeah, keeping
I am the
connected.
glue
Yes.
in our friend group,
Yes,
so
yes,
I take
yes.
pride in that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Anyways, Eunice is very surprised, and we'll get into this a little bit.
Yes. So who is our guest for today? Who is
Yes.
Eunice?
Eunice, I mean, I feel like you should introduce Eunice. Who is Eunice?
Yes, Eunice Ha is my younger sister.
Welcome everyone. No.
2 years younger than me. And I just want to note, like, people who are just listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts may get a little confused because we often get that our voices sound exactly alike.
Yes.
And I do think so. So
Yeah, I think it's a little different.
yeah,
though.
It
yeah.
is.
Maybe mine's a little bit deeper.
I don't know. Yeah, maybe.
You have like a
I can hear it. I can hear it.
different timbre.
Yeah.
Timbre.
But yeah, Eunice.
Tambourine.
Eunice wasn't gonna come onto the podcast. I was not planning on to have her as a guest.
Yeah.
But her being the younger sister, she secretly wanted to be on the podcast very bad because she is an avid fan of the
Yes.
podcast. So I was like, why the heck not? Actually, this was an accident to even have her on the podcast. We came here to solely just help Jess with Hui. But I was like, okay, why the heck not? And also, I do want to point out one last thing. This is going to be the last episode for maybe just a few weeks, depending on how I feel. Maybe 1-2 weeks.
Whatever
we're
the
going,
boss says.
Yeah, we're going on a break, a brief break.
Yes.
So I thought, okay.
Because why?
Because I am going to Japan and Korea.
Wow.
Yeah, so before that, I thought, okay, let's just end it with a bang.
Yeah.
Bring in my sister.
Yeah.
We have no agenda today because she is my sister.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I feel very comfortable right now. How do you feel,
No, I feel
Eunice?
comfortable. I feel great. Am I in the frame, by the way?
You are. You are.
I just feel a little distant. You
You can come
wanna make
closer if you'd like.
No, I like looking like this way.
Okay, so yeah, how do you feel? Who
No, I
are
feel
you?
Great. My name is Eunice Ha. I am Janice Ha's sister.
Jeong.
Everyone knows me as Janice's younger sister, but my name is Eunice Ha. Yeah, dude. Like, what's up?
You
Honey
are-
Jam Pod.
잘하는데.
You're also a big podcast listener.
Oh yeah, a huge
Not just
podcast
Honey Jam.
listener. Yeah. No, before Honey Jam, before everything, I was a huge like podcast listener for like murder podcasts. It started with that, and then some people who are in the industry, like Shin and the Living Room Pod, and so I started listening to them, and then I'm a huge fan of Bad Friends, featuring Bobby Lee and Andrew Santino. So
That's her favorite one.
I listen to it every week.
I've listened to a few actually.
it's very
great.
um
Not up your alley.
yeah, it's very vulgar.
Yeah.
It's funny
They
though.
say
It's-
stupid jokes.
Their
they're
chemistry, but then
funny.
the white guy, he's actually very witty.
yeah.
Oh.
That's why it's fun.
They complement each other.
I
Very
see.
well.
Yeah.
But then
Very
also
well.
their podcast episodes is like they're like very long,
Yeah,
right?
it's like over an hour and a half, over an hour and a half, but
Like
it's just
unedited.
unedited. But it's really fun. I just listen to it on the way, driving from K Town or whatnot.
Yeah.
It's really fun. So I love podcasts. So I'm very happy to be here on today's Honey Jam Pod.
Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, you're welcome.
When we said like, hey Eunice, like you should come on the pod,
Mhm.
we were talking about how Eunice discovered a lot of things about Janice that she didn't know, right? And we're just talking about how like Janice is a very different person when she's with Eunice.
How so?
Because as soon as Eunice and Janice came in, they started fighting, right?
We're like yelling in the garage.
Yeah, they were like yelling in the garage, and then they were like yelling in the bathroom. And I was like, me being the peacemaker of my family, I instantly started like breaking out in sweat and started panicking.
Uh-huh.
And then Eunice came out, and I was like, Eunice, don't fight. She's like, oh, we're not fighting. I was like, oh, okay. And then Janice came out. I was like, Janice, don't fight. Like, you be nice to your sister. Janice like, we're not fighting. This is literally what we do every day. We
It's
just
the norm.
bicker at each other, and then
Yeah.
everything's all good.
Yeah.
But Janice, I feel like, I mean, you can expand on this, Eunice. But Janice, like amongst her friends, she's like, known to be kind of like the soshim, sensitive, overthinking, like very, very nice person. She wouldn't hurt a fly, That's her image in her friend her friend group. Like she is usually the one who's like the butt of the joke and like, getting roasted. You know what I mean? And like she's always 챙겨ing and caring for everybody, and I'm sure she does that for you too, but like Janice rarely gets mad, and if she does, like it's like in a way where it's like, I don't know, like apologetic.
Yeah. It's not true wrath.
Yeah, it's not.
Oh,
She's
what
never
is-
been angry. It's more like she's sad, at her friends. But then
Yeah.
with you, when I see her with you, like I feel like that sisterly anger that comes only as like the 언니 and
Yeah.
like the first child
Daughter.
of your family, the first daughter, like that comes out with
Yeah.
you, right?
No, totally. She's
Yeah.
very different, I would say, with like friends and family. I think when I saw her with her friends, it's just like, I think she is a great friend, also a great daughter too. But I think the dynamic in our family is very like, I don't really, I mean, I'm in the family obviously, but a lot of the time like she's like the like happy like, oh, like, you know, 기분 좋게, like everyone like, let's laugh, let's like all eat together, let's sit together and watch TV, like, yeah, you know, that kind of feel, you know.
Yeah.
And so she's kind of the one that does that, and she's always happy, like the happy virus, which is I think the same in friendships. But as a sister, she's very I mean, you guys talked about this before, but she is very like judgmental. We don't really have like same, I guess,
Values?
lifestyles.
Oh, okay, lifestyles.
Okay,
yes.
values maybe, but
No,
I
we
feel
have
like
same values.
same but like lifestyle's a little different, I
Yeah.
think. And I wouldn't say I'm like a rebellious, like crazy, you know, person that does like, you know, but it's a little different than her.
Compared to me.
Compared to her, it might seem so. And so she's very judgmental of me, or she was, and she thinks she's a lot better now, but I think she's still slightly judgmental.
Yeah.
But I think she is very short-tempered with me.
Yeah.
Compared to her
That's
friends.
true.
I think maybe because she does get pissed off, or, you know, everyone's human, and I'm sure she
Yeah.
gets angry with her friends too. But she like lashes out on family. My mom too. She's very short-tempered to my mom. My dad's scared of her. And so
boss.
that's, yeah,
I
she's
am.
like definitely the first child.
That everyone
and-
눈치 봐서.
Yeah, and at some point I think I was more scared of her than I was of my parents.
Yeah.
I mean, you
yeah.
better be still.
Not now. I'm not really. I'm just like, yeah.
Wait.
I'm scared of your judgment.
Oh.
I'd say.
I'm the same way with my sister. I'm scared of my sister more than my parents.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude.
My sister can be judgmental too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, like last weekend. Can I talk about that?
Yeah.
Last weekend, she was out like at a birthday party
Yeah.
or something, or a wedding, right? And then she's like, "Oh, I'm gonna come home a little bit later."
Oh yeah.
And I was okay, well, whatever. And she was gonna sleep at my family's place. So I went to sleep, and then all of a sudden, like I hear her coming into our room. She barges into the room, opens up the door, and she taps me. She taps me, and I wake up obviously, right? Because she's tapping me, and I just see her silhouette. And she's like,
I had the flashlight.
she's like shaking. She's flashing
I had the
my
flashlight.
face with her flashlight, so I can barely see. So I just barely see her silhouette, and she's shaking her arm like this, right? And I'm like, is something wrong? So I
Yeah.
go, what's wrong? Because I'm worried.
Yeah.
And she goes, hi. And I'm like, I just go, you know what? I'm really mad. I just say, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
And then she goes, okay, geez. And she goes out. She slams the door. And I was just so pissed because it was 2 a.m.
Yeah.
She smelled like alcohol. Thank God she didn't drive home. Her friend drove her,
Yeah.
apparently. And she just wanted to say hi.
Yeah. Okay, this is my side of the story.
Okay.
Is because they went on a trip with their friends. So for like 3-4 days I didn't see them. And so I was really excited to see her.
Oh.
And I
2
wanted
a.m.?
and also it was me being like, oh, I'm home, because
Yeah.
she had texted me at 11 like, hey, are you coming home? I'm like, yeah, but she didn't reply. And so I was like, okay, I need to tell her like I'm here, because she's probably worried about me. But she was like so asleep, like dead sleep. So I was just like, okay, that was a bad idea. Also, I was intoxicated, so probably not a good idea. But yeah, she was pissed and I was scared. I was like, oh, I'm screwed tomorrow. I'm
Wait, so
so
did you
screwed.
get mad at her?
I was, in
Yeah.
the morning, I was mad. Yeah. But then at nighttime, I was so pissed off that I couldn't fall
back to
asleep
Oh.
for like a good 5 minutes.
Wow, 5 minutes.
Yeah. I was like, oh my God, I'm going to go off on her tomorrow.
that reminds me of the meme where it's like when someone breaks your heart when you're 30.
Yeah.
Whenever you go. And it's,
Yeah, like you're too old to like stay awake.
you're too old to like even be heartbroken
Yeah,
for
yeah,
a long time.
yeah.
You just gotta sleep and rest.
Yeah. So, you know, compared to me, I think we are. I mean, Eunice does come off as more of like the rebellious child. You know, she grew up loving the arts. She went to art school.
So cool.
Got some tattoos.
How many tattoos do you have?
I think I have like 11,
Woo!
11, 12, yeah.
Has a nose ring, has a bell ring, had a septum ring. Shaved her head once.
Oh yeah.
And then dyed it pink.
Mm-hmm.
She did so many things that I would never ever do.
Yeah.
But you know, she's my sister, and so there are times when, a lot of times when we do get along very well. You know, like there are days when we're like on the same wavelength
Yeah.
and we're just like cracking up about like the same things. That's when it's a good day.
Yeah.
But I would say like, you know, other times maybe like 70% of the no, that's too high. 60% of the time I would say we're like annoyed of each other.
Uh-huh.
I would
Really?
say 40% of the time we are having a good time.
60-40. I guess that's not too
60,
bad.
40. Okay.
Yeah.
What was today? Well, it was.
Oh, today was a low day.
Oh, low day?
Very low.
Oh, okay.
Extremely low.
I'm like, first of all, you agreed to come to the OC with me. I didn't ask you to come.
But I wasn't complaining about coming here.
I know, but you were annoying the crap out of
I
me.
wasn't annoying you. You were getting annoyed. See, I know that she's annoyed when I like ask her stuff, and she'll just be like, Eunice, like, just shut up. Just shut up, Eunice. Just shut up.
Like, my question is this. If you know someone is annoyed, right, by their short answers, why don't you stop asking the questions? I feel like that's truly like a second, like a, you know, younger sister, younger brother thing where they just like know they're annoying you, but they'll continue to do it until you explode.
No, I don't think your goal is to make you explode. It's just like you're asking the question because you don't think you're not being annoying. You're just having a bad
my
day.
question is, why are you annoyed at her question?
Exactly. They're not even bad questions. They're just literally like small questions.
What annoyed you?
It's just like small things, like small questions that add up. And you come to the point where you're like, oh my gosh, this girl is just bombarding me with questions about like the stupidest things. Like the reason why we fought in her garage was like I was like almost at my last straw, like final straw, where we're walking into the garage and she goes, oh, they have a Tesla? I'm like, yes, they have a Tesla. Like, oh, I didn't know they have oh, they have a Tesla? And I was like, Eunice, if you see a Tesla parked in the freaking garage, like, what do you think that is? You know? And yes, I answered your question. It's yes, they have a Tesla. And so that's why I was yelling at her.
Why are you getting so mad?
You're just like, I just asked a question.
Yeah.
Like, why is it something to get so...
Yeah, and you know
mad over?
what I think it is, actually, now that I think about it,
Yeah.
I think it's because you're doing so many things at once. When you're like coming here, you're like on the phone, I was listening to your guys' podcast, like kind of like a lot of things going on at once.
Yeah.
And so you're 정신없어 and overwhelmed. And then that just adds to it because I'm asking questions and you can't explode to anyone else. So explode on me.
Yes, that's true.
That's what
true.
happened.
You're overstimulated.
I
Yes,
was.
That's
I
what
was.
it is. That's
Yeah.
what it was.
But actually, on this topic, though, it's kind of funny because, like David always says, the way I treat my sister is the way David treats me sometimes. Like, he'll, you know, 잔소리해 me. He'll like tell me, don't do this, don't do that, don't do this, you know, like about money, right? And then I take that information and subconsciously, I like do that to my sister. I pass it down directly.
Yeah.
And then she's like, wait a second, I've heard of this conversation before. You're taking what David told you and like doing it to me.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, that's right.
Yeah. But she like, it's so annoying because if it's like, oh, you know, you should do this because it's better. But she's like, you don't know that? And I'm like,
as if I knew it from
yeah,
the
I'm
beginning.
like, hello, did you know it? And she's like, yeah, no, now I know it because David. I'm like, okay, like, how am I supposed to know? You know?
I feel like 2 years, like that age gap,
Uh-huh.
a lot of siblings fight a lot.
Yeah,
you know?
because you know you're close enough where like you guys could be friends.
Yeah.
But you know, I'm her older sister, and that's I think one thing I've always tried to make clear.
Yeah.
Like Eunice loves my friends. Like she loves you. She loves all the Sarah, Jeong, Jane, and like she just loves hanging out with the girls. But like for me, I've always wanted to make sure like she understands like I am your older sister. Like I am not your best friend.
Yeah.
But I feel like she's always wanted to have that relationship, and I feel bad sometimes, you know.
Yeah.
But I have a lot of friends, and that's like a separate world from like sister. And I love my sister. Of course, I love her.
Yeah.
You know.
That's funny because I never thought we would be like best friends.
Oh.
There's no way I'm gonna have a best friend like you.
So it's your chaka.
There's no way, girl.
Oh, like
No,
if
you
we
weren't
weren't
for no reason.
If we weren't sisters, you think we would never be friends?
Okay, I don't know about that. Oh, never be friends. Maybe we would be friends, but I don't know. Like if we would
Like
be, like
close friends.
I mean, I'm sure we would be because you're like friends with everyone. But
You know, like when you guys are talking, like your dynamic, there's so much tiki taka and like
Oh.
a lot of I don't know, like that classic sibling
yeah.
vibe that I get, and that's what I get from like my sister and my brother because they're 2 years apart.
Oh.
Actually, a little less than 2,
Uh-huh.
little less, almost 2,
I
2
didn't
grades
know.
apart. But yeah, like they're kind of the same way. Where like my brother, like even though he annoys my sister, like he doesn't care.
Yeah.
And he's like, why are you getting mad? You know, my sister's like, how do you not know that you're pissing me off? And like, I'm the peacemaker. So for me, even though I have siblings, it's very different for me because
Yeah.
I have like a huge age gap with my brother and my sister. So I would never dare to annoy my sister.
Oh,
I would never dare to like kegyo to my brother. You
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
It's always been like, oh, whatever they say, like I need to follow
Yeah,
and
respect.
Yeah,
Mm.
because there's a huge age gap. You know.
So you are scared of me, huh?
Yeah, in some sense, I'd say.
Yeah,
For sure.
it's good. I want to keep that power
Oh, it's a power thing.
for sure.
Okay.
So okay,
have
let's
it.
shift gears a little
Hey,
bit.
you go
What's your
therapy.
favorite thing about your sister?
She says you need to go to therapy.
What's your favorite thing about your sister?
Me?
Yeah, each of you guys.
I guess it's nice to have an older sister. I'm really thankful to have an older sister because that bond is like very different, and I
Yes.
really felt it when I was doing my like bridal shower and stuff in Korea.
Oh.
That was like the most like I felt it, and also like my birthdays and stuff. She would be the one that's kind of like, you know, she's really good with people, so she'd be like, oh, like everybody, like, you know. So I was really thankful for that, and to have a sister that like knows me enough to like be able to set up those things and be friendly with my friends, you know, and lead because she's the older one. Yeah, that's what I like about her.
Okay,
That's
건조하지.
nice.
It's like that's
Dry.
nice.
I'm just kidding. No, that's very nice. Yeah.
My favorite thing, you know, one thing I've really like recently started appreciating about my sister is I like shopping too, but like it's not my priority. Eunice has always been like a fashionista
Yes.
and like trendsetter. Like, you know, she's always,
cool.
to me, it seemed so strange, like what she liked. But then like a few years later, you would see, oh, that like it became the trend. So like, you know, so she
like
has an eye.
ahead of the trend.
Yeah, she's ahead of the trend. Exactly. So one thing I really appreciate these days is like if I need to buy a birthday gift or like even today, if we had to pick out like a baby shower gift, she's so like giving in that way of her time. Like she really wants to be there and like help you pick out something really nice.
Yeah.
So I really appreciated that.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
And she has, and she gives great input.
Yes.
Yeah.
Great input.
Like actual, like helpful input.
Yes.
Even
Yeah.
today, you mentioned when you guys were shopping for like to cook for us.
Yeah.
You're like, just get that one, this for the sausage.
Yes.
And Eunice was like, it's spicy. He has to eat it
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh shoot, you're right.
Yeah. So like in certain
Yeah.
ways, I feel like, okay, I am the first daughter,
Yeah.
but she definitely brings in a lot of good input. And like sometimes I feel like she has more sense than me. Like
Detail oriented.
very detail oriented. It's almost like she lived a little bit longer than me. Almost like sometimes she feels like it feels like she's older than me, you know, like, you know, with like little details about like not buying a spicy sausage packet, you know. So in those ways, I'm like, oh, you know, I learn a lot from her too.
When you hang out with Janice and David, is it actually fun for you?
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah.
I like it. A lot
You
of
like
times
them,
actually.
really?
I mean, it's like half and half. Actually, more. It's not half and half directly down the line, like middle. But David and I, we like get along. Like we get along pretty well, and so it's like fun to kind of just be like, "Dude, Janice, what the heck? You don't get that?"
They get along because they like talking
bully you?
crap about me.
We're like,
And
"Wait, why
bullying
don't you
me.
get this?"
Yeah.
You know? But the other half, it would be like I'm kind of like nunchi buying David, a little bit like careful because you know he's my brother-in-law. And, like David has this kind of, like his. I don't know, like his aura, I guess, is like intimidating, I would say.
Oh.
It's kind of like you have to get to know him, like warm up to him type
Yeah,
of thing.
yeah.
So although I didn't have like a bad impression of him, it's like, oh, he seems very like he like no BS type of thing, you know. But then you get to know him, you're like, oh, he could crack jokes, like
Yeah.
he's like not that tight, like, you know, he's just like kind of like, oh, you know. And so I think it's those two types of dynamics with when I hang out with them too.
Yeah,
But I
she
love
loves
it.
hanging out with us.
It's fun, yeah.
Yeah, whenever he needs to go like to the market to buy stuff for his content, she's like, "Can I come?"
He's like, yeah.
yeah. I think that's so sweet that like you guys hang out together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that is really nice.
Yeah. And David, I really appreciate that he's also very good at like listening, and it's like almost like a therapy session, you know. I tell him like what I talk about with my therapist after my sessions, and it's really just like nice to kind of just like talk about like deep stuff with, because I don't have a guy that is like, you know, like English speaking, like, besides my dad obviously, but a guy figure that I could do that with. I've never had that before, to talk about deep subjects like that. So
Yeah.
it's nice to have like, you know, basically a brother that I could do that with. Yeah.
Are you guys more like your mom or dad, or like are you a mix of each? You know what I mean?
I'm my
Like-
dad.
Oh.
By body, physically.
Oh no, just like I guess like more like personality.
I think it's like a mix for sure.
Really?
Really?
I thought like one would be more like Oma
Yeah.
name, or one would be more.
You're
like
more
Appa.
Oma for sure.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
What makes you think that you're more like Appa and me, Oma?
Because mom is more like so. Actually, dad's kind of social too, though, huh?
Yeah. Actually, no, mom is more social.
Yeah, she kind of goes like wild.
She has so many friends
She does.
in Korea and America. But I love that about her. You know, she has her own life.
Yeah.
She's always been like that.
She prioritizes her like time,
Yes,
and happiness,
yes.
and what she does for herself.
Sometimes a little too much. And that's why, you know, like my parents used to fight a lot growing up. But I respect that, you know. I think like seeing that, I'm like, I want to also prioritize like my life too later
for
down the line when I
sure,
have
yeah.
kids. To a certain extent. So
You have an identity beyond your kids. Of
yeah,
course.
yeah.
Yeah.
But my mom is hilarious, so I definitely get that from her.
You also look like her.
Oh yes, yeah.
Like your body too. You're smaller.
Yeah, Eunice is way taller than me.
Yeah.
You're 5'9".
9.
Yeah.
You are Eunice?
5'9".
5'9".
Yeah.
Wait, can we talk about like when we went to Korea when we were younger?
You know, when you're younger, you're like, always like out inside and stuff, so you're really dark. And I think more than just being dark and tall, I think it was like the clothes that I wore was kind of like revealing, I guess.
Yeah.
For like
Korea?
summer. Yeah, Korea. It's hot. Like I'm not gonna be, you know, in a freaking t-shirt. I'm like in a tank and stuff, and like people would like look at me, and I'd be like, this is so weird. And also, it wasn't in Seoul. I think it was in some other part, like where our other where like
Kimpo?
lived. Yeah, maybe Kimpo or something. I don't know. Or
You like
Ujeongbu.
stand out amongst.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah. So people, I think, and back then, now there's a lot of foreigners, but back then there weren't that many foreigners there, so they were just like, "Whoa, like, where is this girl from?" Like,
Yeah.
she's hella dark.
And wearing weird clothes.
Tall.
Yeah, really tall for like a little girl.
Yeah, so I feel like she's always gotten attention in that way. Like, oh, you're so tall, or like, oh, you're wearing such interesting clothes. But yeah, I feel like naturally you kind of took on that role because I was more of like the calm, or not calm, but like, you know, compared to you, like very normal, you know, clothes.
Yeah, normal clothes.
You know, like
Uniqlo vibe.
yeah, Uniqlo vibe where I don't like to stand out too much. I'm the goody two shoes, the golden child. We grew up hearing my grandpa call me Taejang, which is like, you know, what is that
Captain.
like captain of the crew,
Yeah,
captain of
yeah.
the team, and he called my sister Jorbyong, which is like the lowest rank.
Yeah.
I hated
yeah.
that. I hated that.
And like she cried all the time because she hated
I
it.
hated it because he would always
Why?
refer to me as Jorbyong, like do this, do that, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this sucks. Because at home, they don't like that to me, you know, my parents. But my grandpa, he's like very old school, you know.
Yeah.
And so he's always like, oh, Taejang, like she's like, you know,
She's the first daughter.
best, like whatever. And I'm like, what about me? And so I'd be really sad. Yeah. So I'd tell him, like, you don't love me, Harabaji, and stuff like that. But you know, it's
And I'm like
different.
laughing on the side, like basking in the glory of being being the Taejang.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So you're the oldest in like that side of the family.
In my dad's side of the family, I am the oldest.
On both
I am
sides.
Oh, on both sides. Yeah, I am my grandpa's favorite child, golden child.
Yeah. I mean, I think you are really good to them.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm also thankful is because like, I'm just like, hey, 할아버지.
Uh-huh.
But you're always like, oh, like 할아버지, like 보고 싶어요. And I do that too, but
Yeah.
I'm not as like frequent. Like
Yeah.
you'll post like pictures of 할아버지 and stuff on like FaceTiming him on Instagram, and I'm
Yeah.
like, I won't do that, you know?
Yeah, like one time Eunice was in Korea and I was in America. And like when I go to Korea, you know, I always want to make sure like I'm taking care of my grandparents because, you know, now we're older and like I feel like we should give back, you know, so I'm literally fighting with my grandma over like doing the dishes. Like she won't let me do it. Like I will fight her, you know, and I'm like taking out the trash like in secret because she doesn't want me doing that. So I'm like getting out of my way to really like serve my grandparents. I call my sister when she's in Korea. She's like still in bed at 11 a.m. I'm like, dude, did you do the dishes at least? And she's like, oh, well, grandma won't let me. I'm like, dude, you gotta fight her. It's like,
that 첫째, 둘째
yeah. I'm like, well, no wonder you're Jorbyong.
yeah.
Yeah.
That reminds me, I had the honor of meeting Janice's 할아버지 and 할머니 in
Yeah.
Korea, and I
Yeah.
even got to sleep over at their place.
Yeah.
But then I just remember like in the morning, like Janice's grandma set up like this beautiful like, you know, 진수 성찬.
Yeah,
You know what you call it?
yeah.
Like
Feast.
It was a feast, you know, and it was only like for breakfast. And like it was straight up like everything you can imagine in like a Korean, you know, feast.
Yeah.
And I was so thankful. But then I forgot what it was like. She even like gave me like a juice for dessert
Like
after the meal.
It was like a grape juice.
It was like a grape juice, right? And then I was about to drink it. I forgot something was in it that wasn't supposed to be in the smoothie. And I was like, oh, like I think I found something. And then Janice like pointed. I was like, oh, 할머니, like something's in the smoothie. And Janice's, you guys' 할머니, like freaked out. And honestly, it was like I could just take it out. It's fine. And I regret it so hard. Like, why the heck did I mention that? I should have just like 조용히 took it out and then just drank it. But I just like just really casually like, oh, like what is this? Oh,
Yeah.
okay. And I was gonna drink it, but your harmony. She was so apologetic and like 진짜 소심 level like final form.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is where Janice gets her soshim sensitive craziness from.
Yeah.
Because she was like so apologetic. And she was like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, she wouldn't stop apologizing to me. And then that made me feel so bad and terrible.
Yeah, and even after you left, she was like, "Oh, I feel so bad. Like your friend, like had something weird in her dream." I'm like, "Harmony, it's not a big
I know.
deal."
I was like, 할머니 너무 맛있었어요. Like, please, it was so delicious.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. I'm sorry for bringing it up.
She's not convinced.
And she's not convinced.
Yeah.
She's not. Nothing is going through here. She's just so sorry. And
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my god, this is where Janice gets it from.
That's my
dude.
grandma.
Oh my god. Okay. Also another side story. This is the same. Actually, the same time when I was there.
Uh-huh.
In Korea, they don't have dryers.
Uh-huh.
So you have to like hang your clothes
Yeah.
outside like on a rack.
Yeah.
So I got to like I had to wash my underwear, fenty, and then I hung it at like in the balcony area, right? But then it was like the Uniqlo fenty, the thin one.
Yeah.
And then everyone happens to wear that. Janice wears it. Janice, your guys' mom wears it.
Yeah.
I went to get it, and then I wore a small at the time.
Wait, is it still in Korea or in America?
This is Korea. This
Okay.
is the same
Okay, got it, got
trip
it.
and
Yeah.
same, actually, I think same day.
Okay.
Ah.
But then I get the benti, and I didn't notice then, but I wear it, and it feels very big. Like, it feels very, like, 헐렁해.
Okay.
And I'm just like, oh, like, why does it feel like this? And I take it off, and it's a different size. It's
Yeah.
like a medium or
It's
large.
probably large.
Yeah. And then I'm like, oh, shoot, this is not my size. And then I like ask Janice, and she's like, what? Like, what do you mean? Like, no one touched your benti. That's weird.
Yeah.
And so she like investigates, and your mom, we have the same color benti. And she wore my benti, and she left her benti, so I wore her benti, and she was wearing mine. And she's like, 어머! She's like, 어머, Jessica, 어떡해? 어쩐지, it was so tight. She's like, 어쩐지 너무 타이트하더라고. like, 빨아서 그런 줄 알았지. She's like, 어머, 어떡해, 어머. You know your mom.
Yeah.
I was dying laughing. She's like, 새 거 사줄게. I was like, 아이, 괜찮아요. 저 이거 입어도 돼요? Yeah. But that was like 진짜 double whammy. Juice and Fenty. I'm like, oh my gosh, please. Did you guys have a similar taste in guys?
Ooh.
Oh, good question.
Like, did you guys like the same things growing up, like celebrities or like?
Oh no.
Not at all?
Well, I do feel like I started liking K-pop 1st,
Uh-huh.
and then she kind of naturally like joined the bandwagon.
Yeah, I was gonna say because for me, like, I wanted to copy everything my sister did.
Yeah.
So naturally, like, even my fashion or style,
Yeah.
kind of like resembled her.
Yes.
But I feel like for Eunice, like, she's so different.
Yeah,
from me,
yeah.
you know?
She kind of like paved her own path with
Yeah.
like fashion and stuff. But I think like music and shows and movies, she definitely like followed me. And
Yeah.
I remember like when we were young, like I was in middle school, and that's when like AIM, was a thing. Like I remember she didn't have an AIM because she was too young, and like none of her friends were doing it. So she would just sit next to me and just like watch me chat with my friends.
Wait, it was MSN.
It was MSN.
You would just watch her.
I'd watch
chat.
her. Yeah, it was like so cool. I'm like, what is this? Like
That's
so
so
Korean.
cute.
I think at the time you were talking Korean too.
Uh-huh.
And so I was like, what is she talking about? There's so many chats, like so like fast. And so I'm like, whoa, what is that?
Like so busy by myself.
Yeah, it's like so cool. And I'm like, oh my
And you're
gosh.
like,
Like you don't have an MSN, right?
And the
I do.
sound was really pretty too. I remember.
Uh-huh.
And so I was just like, yeah. I was like, wow.
You should just sit there, just
I'll
watch
sit
me.
there like, hey, can I press enter for you?
I'm like, sure.
I'm like, okay, here. And then it gets boring. I'm like, okay, I'm gone. Leave.
that reminds me of your story. Can you tell that story when you're like, you're gonna go somewhere with your friends?
Oh
and you're
yeah,
like,
all
can
the
you tell that
time.
story?
Yeah, I mean, this is like growing up. I think classic
Yeah.
sister, older sister, younger sister dynamic. But like, I would go out to the mall with my friends, and then like my mom would be like, "Take Eunice," and that would just piss piss me off. And she's just like crying because she wants to come with me. And I'm like so angry. I'm like, Eunice, like say something. Say you don't want to go. And she's just like, she's quiet, like hiding behind my mom's back because she wants to go so badly. She wants to go so badly, but she doesn't want to piss me off.
Yeah.
So that's why she tells my mom. And then like if my mom forces her, then I can't say no.
Yeah.
And like, you know, so she'll just be like, Oma told me to.
She's like crying in the back.
Yeah, but so happy. So happy to go. Right? Do you remember those days?
Yeah. I remember like we went to, I think it was like Ellen's birthday party at like Six Flags or something.
Oh
I
my God,
was,
you
like,
were there?
really- I don't know. I feel like I was. I don't know. Horror nights or something like that. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
that was funny.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
That's so cute.
Yeah.
And the fact that you're like so angry about it is so cute too. Like,
I'm like,
Eunice!
oh, you ruined my life. But now, you know, I actually do like it when she hangs out with like my friends. That's nice. And even today, like, you know, we came to help Jess, like, you know, take care of Hui a little bit. But we were cooking together, and it was kind of nice cooking with my sister
Your
by
guys'
my side.
chemistry was impeccable.
Yeah, I will say, even though the day overall chemistry sucked, I would say in the kitchen was great.
You guys were like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like it's because we didn't really like start cooking until we got married. I think now like we know what to do in the kitchen. So I think I was very impressed by ourselves, like my performance in the kitchen and yours as well, because you know we grew up like not cooking at all. Like my
Yeah.
mom cooked everything for us. So
That's true.
another instance where I felt like, oh, Eunice and I are kind of different was when we were at a party, just like a very casual 4th of July party. And I was going to the party a little bit late, but like I was told that a celebrity whom I cannot name
yes.
was going to be at this party, at this casual party.
Huge celebrity.
A huge A-list star
Yes.
was going to be at this party.
Yeah.
And I was kind of bracing myself
Yeah.
because I mean, I've been waiting to meet her. Eunice was like, oh, I'm going to be there first. So she was there. I got there maybe like an hour or two after her. And I was so nervous because I really like this celebrity too. But then I get there and she is just like having the time of her life. Maybe it's because she also was intoxicated. Always intoxicated. But she was just like dancing and like, you know, casually talking to her. She was twerking on her.
Oh my gosh.
I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And me on the side, I'm just like, hi, I'm a huge fan. And I sat there and I couldn't say a single word because I was just,
loser.
yeah, I was just starstruck.
Yeah.
But she was just like so comfortable.
Yeah.
And she's like, Onye, it's not a big deal. Like, what's wrong with you? Oh my gosh. And I was just like so embarrassed because I was
And
like,
that celebrity was like genuinely having fun with you.
Yeah,
guys,
she
too.
was.
Yeah.
and that's when I was like, wow, this is where Eunice and I are kind of different,
Yeah.
you know? And like, I think maybe it's because she has more experience in the clubs. In that way, I was like, okay, we are so different because yeah, I am very outgoing and like
Yeah.
whatever, but like in that kind of setting, I think I do get very shy.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
yeah,
true.
first of all, meeting a celebrity, yeah, I'll get shy.
Yeah.
And then, you know, in that party type of energy, I get drained very easily.
Yeah.
But Eunice kind of just like rises
yeah.
and she's like,
It's funny because everyone was hyping Janice up like before she arrived, right? Like, oh my gosh, you're gonna love her.
Yeah.
Like, she's so fun. And like, there was already this like
Expectation.
that you were gonna be like as fun as Eunice.
Yeah.
right? You come and you're like, hi.
yeah, hi. I'm Janice. I'm a huge fan.
And you just like, "Honey, what
Yeah, I felt like a loser.
Yeah.
I really did.
But Eunice has that like cool,
Yeah.
kind of like relaxed energy.
Yeah.
And she knows how to have fun.
Yeah, I think that day I really respected my sister
yeah.
because I was like, dude, I could not like be twerking and like yeah, you know, like she was truly having a really good time, and I was just like so nervous.
You were just so conscious of the fact that she's a huge
yes,
celebrity.
yes, I was like doing my best to act cool,
Yeah.
but that was the
That was
extent.
making you even more nervous.
Exactly, I was just sweating, and I was just like, what do I say?
Yeah.
I think that's just also like the vibe. You're not used to that kind of vibe. You're just more like used to being the crazy one in a like quiet,
Yeah, that's true.
you know, sober scene.
Yeah, uh-huh.
But yeah,
But talk
that's
about
fun.
your Korea experience.
my Korea experience.
Yeah.
I had like some crazy. I'm not really crazy actually. What experience we're talking about?
Just like in the clubs, you'd be like dancing up, and then like
Oh yeah, I'd be dancing up. I would go clubbing a lot with my husband too when we were in Suwon. And so when we were at clubbing, I'm just like dancing, like, you know, I love hip hop, and so I would be like dancing, and then there's like these like younger like kids, like guys that are dancing with me, and we're like, oh, I would dance like grooving whatever, and then he would see like 우영 오빠 or my husband, and he'd be like, oh, like he would ask him like, oh, 무슨 사이세요? Like,
What
what's
kind
your
of
guys'
relationship are you guys?
And he's like, oh, she's my wife. And he's like, whoa, oh, she's your wife. And he's like,
Sorry,
yeah,
my
yeah.
bad, man.
Like, no, it's okay. We're just all dancing,
Yeah.
and then I don't know. I really like going clubbing. I think nowadays not as much because it's just a lot of work, but. Clubs in Korea are really fun. Everyone's super chill.
Yeah.
And it's easy because you could stand out easily in Korea. I feel
Yeah,
like.
and you like that attention a
I
little
like
bit.
that, yeah, and I'm tall, you know,
Yeah.
like I have tattoos. Like not a lot of girls in Korea would. I mean, now they did their arm a lot more, but you know, even like the clothes I wear, it's like not really.
Yeah.
I wear like a halter top or whatever.
You definitely don't look like Korean.
Yeah.
That's what, yeah, and I'm like darker too, so you know they're kind of like, oh, what the heck, exotic? Not exotic, but like, oh, 뭐지? You know?
Yeah.
Like it's like whoa. So I like, yeah, I love dancing and going clubbing and drinking. You know.
Yeah, well, the thing is, like, my family is actually, we do not do well with alcohol. Like, me, my sister, and my dad, we all react the same way, which is we get super red, we throw up, and it's just like, I don't like that feeling, which is why I stopped drinking.
Yeah.
My mom also, she has very low tolerance. She doesn't show it. Like, she looks fine, but she's very weak in that way. So I'm always chansoring her. I'm like, don't
Yeah.
drink. It's not
Yeah.
good for your health.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Even after the day after the whole like this weekend, the morning, I'm like literally like so crusty. I'm just like in bed, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, did you drink?" I was like, "Yes." And then she's like, "Oh my gosh, like why are you so puasa?" And I was like, "Cause I drink." She's like, "See, this is why you're not supposed to drink." Yeah, and I'm like, "Oh my god!" I'm like, "Where are you going?" And she's like, "I'm going to church." I was like, "Of course, of course, you're going to church." You know what's crazy is, mom and dad don't even like say that kind of stuff to me. Actually, they don't say like, "Oh, stop drinking," or like they never say that to me.
Yeah,
Actually,
yeah.
she's the one that is like that.
Yeah, I think my mom is kind of not scared of Eunice, but she doesn't want to bother Eunice. And so maybe that's why I naturally took on the role of being like the mom that like, you
Wait.
know, gives you crap.
You think so?
For sure, 100%.
Oh, what? I'm unaware of this.
Yeah.
Like 어머님 눈치 봐서 Eunice. a
Yeah,
little bit.
exactly.
Yeah.
She's like, you tell her, because when I tell her, like, she just yells back at me. And so that's when I take all of like my anger, I go, rage, I just unleash it all.
So naturally, Eunice is scared of you. More than
Yeah,
your-
I guess that's
more than
how,
Eunice's parents.
that's why that, dynamic is like
Oh,
that.
interesting.
All right, it's time for gangchoo. What is your gangchoo for the week?
My gangchoo is for my listeners out in California. There's a bakery called Porto's Bakery.
Amazing.
Their pastries, you know, everyone knows their cheese rolls, their guava, whatever, you know, but the best thing is not those. It's the sourdough,
Yeah. Have you tried their
the
sourdough?
loaf.
No, I've never.
It comes out, okay, if you go early enough, it comes out warm, and they don't cut it for you because if it's warm, it'll like smush in the cutter. But you'll go throughout the day and like they'll have loaves, and it's like so fluffy. And the best part is it's only like $4.
It's so cheap.
Yeah.
And it's so big. And I didn't know, because like for me, like, you know, like you said, I order the other stuff, but the sourdough, it is so good and fluffy. And if you get a chance, like get some ricotta cheese and jam on top. We had that. It was so freaking good.
And you know, as a wife of someone who makes bomb sourdough, you think Porto's sourdough competes with David's?
Listen, I love David sourdough. He is a great baker.
Yeah.
But it takes a lot of time
does,
to make
yeah.
sourdough. You have to cultivate the sourdough, to feed it. It's like it's a whole thing.
By then you're like, I don't even want it.
Yeah, like it's like so much work.
Yeah.
But like you just go to Porto's, pay $4, and they give you like a huge fresh loaf.
Yes.
It's so freaking delicious.
It's so
Wow.
cheap. Yeah, you just toast it, put butter on it, and put like flaky salt.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, flaky salt.
Is it in every location? Because there's
Yeah.
one in Buena Park.
Yeah.
Buena
And the
Park
only
people-
thing is though, they run out of the sourdough. So you have to go at it like in the morning, and then they run out, and then they bake a fresh loaf in the afternoon. So it's like limited.
time it.
Yeah. And then so when we went, we bought 2 loaves, and then the lady was like, "It's your lucky day. This is the last 2 loaves."
Ooh.
So they run out fast, and it was like 9:30 a.m.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, while we're eating it, I was like, "Dude, this is so good." And
Bomb.
you just like, "Yeah, it's gonna be my gangchoo."
It's so good. It's so good. So everyone go out to your portos and buy some sourdough bread.
Janice, do you want a gangchoo point of view husband?
POV
Oh.
husband. Yeah, my gangchoo of the week is POV_husband on Instagram. So David had a unique opportunity to collab with him. They're kind of similar in that they're very creative. They cook. They like to cook for their friends and family. So yeah, they like kind of linked up. And then this guy, his name is Daniel. He put a challenge out, host like a dinner or like a meal for your friends and family in a unique way kind of vibe. And so I actually resurfaced a very old video where Jess is actually in it. This was during our 1 year anniversary of dating. And David said, hey, we're going to go out to somewhere nice. Dress nicely. I'm going to take you to a nice restaurant. Okay. And he drives me straight to his house. And on his porch, he had lights ready. And he made a whole setup to make his porch the nice restaurant. And the surprise was he hired his friend and Jess and Josh was there.
As valet.
Yeah, Josh was the valet boy.
Oh, he was?
Yeah, and then Jess was the waitress.
Yeah.
And I documented everything in video. And I think I at the time I uploaded it on Snapchat. Yeah. But then I saved it from a long time ago, and then I was like, oh, this would be perfect to use for the POV husband challenge,
smart.
even though it's an old video. Why not? I'll just do it. And the prize was a $500 gift card to Amazon or something. So I was like, it's just fun. Gives exposure to David too. And so I edited it slightly and then I uploaded it and I won the challenge. So I got a $500 Amazon gift card. But what was better than that was Daniel, POV husband, wanted to do a collaboration with David. And so naturally that happened, and then they did a video together based on the culinary class wars. It was very fun. It was a very fun day. Daniel's wife Eunice was there too. She was very sweet. And they're just all of us, just average Korean American couple who, they're just really funny, and it was a good day.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So check out POV_husband, because I actually discovered him from his viral video. One was basically he was cooking for his wife. He was being a sushi man. He has a Krispy Kreme hat that looks like a sushi man hat. And he does omakase for his wife at home. It's so good, and his content is so genuine. He's just doing it because he loves food and he loves cooking for his family. And he has that dry, muted humor.
He doesn't seem like the funny type of guy, but it's there.
Yes, it's
in
definitely
subtle
there.
ways.
Very, very, very funny guy. They have a cute baby. I know everything about them because I follow him, and I'm a huge fan of POV husband. I think it's crazy that David and Janice got to collaborate with him. But check him out. I think that's a great gangchoo. I think also that day was a very inspiring day for David too, because I feel like it was his first collaboration, you know. So it was cool also to witness him and another creator do something together, and they were just so excited and inspired that day to cook something and film everything. So definitely check him out. Also check out my husband David S. Jeong, because he is still on the grind. He doesn't have a job right now. I told him he has 1 year. He has 6 months left to keep trying already
and see where it takes him. But
props to David, because he's been working hard, and he's been getting some deals here and there, and it's not like he's not doing anything. He's really working hard.
He is
his follower count went up too. He's backing those followers.
We need more followers. We need more deals so that he doesn't have to go back to his 9 to 5. When we're in Asia, when we're going to Japan and Korea, I think maybe he's gonna do some stuff. We'll see. I don't know. I don't want to make any promises. But
keep a look.
Just, do you have a gangchoo? And also,
No,
how
no
was your week of solo
closing day?
parenting? I don't want this to end.
It was really hard, but Josh is coming back very soon.
And
I feel like I leveled up in parenting.
that's right.
Janice, so okay, one last thing. Janice and Eunice are obviously here to help, and I felt so loved and so cared for, and I'm really thankful for them. The last thing that I have to do before yuktae, before clocking out of parenting, is bathing this little boy and putting him to sleep. But these days bathing has been very difficult because he's just he's very sensitive about water getting in his eyes and his hair. He just hates it. So then I asked Janice to help me wash his hair. He went ballistic, but absolutely balls
Bonkers.
crazy. Bonkers.
Yeah, I was kind of shocked actually.
He was crying like crazy.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And by that point, like, I don't know if you saw it in my face. I was like, 왜 울어?
She's like, I don't know why he's crying.
Like, just emptiness.
Yeah.
Nothing left in me.
Yeah.
And like, you know, like by that point, I'm just like, all right, let's just get this over with and put you to sleep, because he's like already so tired.
Mhm.
But that's just kind of like how I felt these days,
Mhm.
just like tapped out a little bit, you know. But I'm glad I have friends like you guys and
Yeah.
a village around me to, you know, help me get through this time.
Yeah.
I'm being so dramatic. It's only a week of solo parenting, and you know, there are so many people who do it like with multiple kids. But it was my first time. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, I do feel like I leveled up in some sense.
Yeah. And no regrets doing Honey Jam today?
No regrets. Absolutely no regrets. Yeah. Especially because this is our last episode of the season.
I think our fans will be very sad to hear that, actually.
I mean,
And-
you're only going to let me rest for like 2 weeks or something. Max.
Yeah, you guys, during these 2 weeks of no episodes, please make sure to send us your encouragements, because I think that's really what makes Jess
It does.
and me, you know,
Yes.
like keep going.
Yeah. Okay, so weirdly, this past week, we had a lot of encouragements coming
Yeah.
in. It's so timely.
Uh-huh.
Really. It's because like whenever I feel tired or like,
Yeah.
not that I don't want to do Honey Jam, but it's just like life.
Yeah.
When life gets tiring and I'm like, you know, one more responsibility or one more
Yeah.
time commitment
Yeah.
of something, even not just Honey Jam, but anything else, I'm just like, oh my God, like I'm so tired.
Mm-hmm.
But like this past week, there were a lot of encouragements flowing in. We wanted to shout out Taylor, Diana's
Shout out.
boyfriend.
Wait, can I tell a story?
Yes, you can.
So Jess texts me and she's like, "Oh my gosh, we have a new fan basically." And there's this girl at Jess's church. Shout
She's
out
also
Diana, who's
yeah.
a fan. She's really cool. She like cooks really well. She rock climbs.
She's so good.
And she met her
Ooh.
boyfriend at rock climbing, right?
Yes,
Or what's
yeah.
it called? Bouldering.
Bouldering.
And he's like, he's not Korean. He's a white dude.
Oh.
he's a firefighter. Yeah, and so like they fell in love at the bouldering gym.
Wait, okay, also remember we sent each other that story, Diana's story of them like couple bouldering. They're like using each other's like weights and like body
Yeah.
to like climb, and
Yeah.
like it's so romantic, and we're like, oh my God, this is so romantic, and we're like freaking out because it's
Yeah.
so cute.
And apparently like he comes to church with her now and like was serving.
Yeah.
And then Diana was like went to Jess and said hi or something, right? And then what happened?
Well, I asked them if they can serve coffee, like
Uh-huh.
pretty last minute, and they were so willing. So I was really thankful. So I went up to them and I said, "Hey guys, thank you so much, like for being willing to serve
Yeah.
coffee and like, you know, so last minute. I really appreciate it." And then like Diana was like, "Hey," like it's just like, "Hey, Taylor, he listens to Honey Jam every week."
But then he was like, I couldn't listen to last week's episode because it was in Korean.
I know. I was like, "What the
But
heck?"
I'm a fan.
I know. He's like, "Yeah, I listened to it," and then I'm like, "Oh my God, thank you so much!" And I was really
Aw.
grateful, even just by them mentioning that, you know,
Yeah.
that they listened to it.
Yeah.
But then later, I saw her again later that day, and then she's like, "Hey Jess, Taylor was so starstruck after seeing you.
That's so cute.
He was like, I felt like I met a celebrity," and I was like, "What, me?"
I think it's really cute and funny because he's like kind of outside of our target audience, but we appreciate it. You know,
Yes,
we love
yeah,
it.
Yes.
So
I was so touched. Like just the fact that he
Aw.
listens to us, I was
Yeah.
so like, you know, so touched by that.
yeah,
But the fact that he was like, I don't know, happy about meeting me.
feels
I don't know.
good.
Like I felt so good. I felt so flattered. And
Yeah.
I was like, wow, like I'm so happy that
Yeah.
like people enjoy listening to us
Yeah.
and they enjoy meeting us, and like, you know, they encourage us.
Yeah. So that's why I was like, I think this was God's timing to really push us to keep going with Honey Jam.
Yeah.
So like I said, you know, just keep on encouraging us.
Yeah.
Share the podcast to all of your friends because, you know, also the numbers encourage us a lot too. So yeah, until then, please be safe, be healthy. But before that, I wanted to ask. Never ending. No.
Never
that.
ending concluding
How
points.
did you? How was today, Eunice?
yeah,
how
how
was
was
the
Honey Jam?
episode?
Oh, today was chill. It just seems like a regular time just talking with you
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah.
It's cool to have these headphones on and listen to my voice.
In season 3, more guests are coming.
Yeah.
You guys have a lineup already?
We don't
We
have
don't.
a lineup per se, but we have a few that we're planning to bring in.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think it'll be pretty
Yeah,
exciting.
I don't know what the future of Honey Jam is, but I think like I love the just casual talking,
Yeah.
bringing in our friends.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know?
yeah. I like that too.
So yeah, do you think you fulfilled all of your desires and wishes to come on a podcast?
Yeah.
Okay, well,
With that.
we will see you guys
Next season.